Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to continue our order to cash process review, and in a previous episode we have covered a customer return scenario where only a credit note is needed to be issued to the customer. There's no inventory impact. So if you have missed that episode, please feel free to check it out through the link I'm going to put in the corner. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about another customer return scenario where inventory is impacted. So without further ado, let's start with an overview of this typical customer return scenario. So what happens is currently I'm selling items as BC01 company, and I'm selling an audio part to Walmart, which is my customer. And basically on the sales orders, I have inputted 3 quantities, and that has been processed through picking and packing and invoicing. So finally, when those 3 items arrive at Walmart, they start thinking, oh, actually, that's by accident and it's a mistake. We should only order 1 quantity and we need to return the remainder to BC01 company. And if that's the case, given that the items are in good condition, so we don't need to do any repair or scrap, so we need to exactly put those remainder items back into the inventory from the customer return, right? So inventory movement needs to be updated within Dynamics from accounting perspective. So having said that, how Dynamics can help us manage this scenario? Basically, high level, there are 3 steps we're going to perform. You're going to see from a live demo just in a second. First step, we're going to record or create a customer return order. And second step, we can register this return order and confirm it. So that's going to trigger an automatic sales order with the type as return order. And the third step is going to manage your post-packing slip of that specific return order to account from the inventory level, and then finally generate your customer credit note from that sales order. So you're going to see that step by step through this live demo. Let's get started. First step, let's try to produce that original sales order. So as I said, as BC01 company, I'm going to create a sales order to record those 3 quantities I'm going to sell to Walmart as my customer. So let's do a new sales order. So from here, I'm going to pick my customer account, Walmart head office, and I will continue with the site distribution. Warehouse is going to be number 21 in my scenario, and then I can continue very straightforward sales order creation process. So now I need to pick up my item. Here is my audio parts. I'm going to sell, let's say I'm going to sell 10 items from the sales order. And at that time, Walmart didn't realize this is a mistake. They only need 2, but actually, on the sales order, we keep 10 total quantity. We need to give a unit price, 1,000 each. So that's going to give us a 10,000 total net amount on the sales order. So maybe you need to check your locations and the financial dimensions if that's the case, but in my scenario, I have those values auto-populated from Customer Master. So all I need to do is save it, and then I'm going to confirm my sales order so I can proceed further with my pick, pack, and invoicing process. All right, so now the sales order is confirmed. We can continue. So I'm going to skip all that warehouse picking list and pick list registration. I will start posting my packing slip right away. So from here, I will let the system to use that all for quantity because I'm not using that pick list. So here you should pick all as the quantity. And then I'm going to continue the process and post my packing slip. All right, so now it's posted. We can continue with generate invoice. And from here, the quantity is going to be based on the packing slip that I just posted, 10 quantity. And now let's say we have generated this invoice of total 10 quantities with a total amount of 10,000. And now from here, this is the original sales order, right? So that actual items, those 10 items will arrive at a warehouse of Walmart. and their warehouse people will realize, oh, actually, this is a mistake. We will only need 2 items, so that remaining 8 items, we will need to return it. So they basically called BC01 company and say, oh, actually, this is a mistake. Can you please give me your RMA number? So that's for reference. That's the return number the customer can use to register this return. And once BC01 gives that RMA number, then it's going to trigger that return process from Walmart. They're going to send the 8 items back to warehouse at BC01. So from technical perspective, how that will play out. As I said, first step is going to create a return order and then communicate that RMA number to the customer to trigger that return process. So to create that return order is going to happen under sales and marketing module. So let's find it, sales and marketing, and then there's a section for sales return. You can check other open return orders or canceled orders, etc. So in my case, I'm going to create a new one. So I pick this all return orders. From here, I'm going to select new and pick my customer account, Walmart head office, and then same site and warehouse. So this is the site and warehouse where you want the return items be loaded in, right? So in my case, I will pick the exact same warehouse and site from my original sales order. So from here, I'm good to go. I can continue with my return order. So normally, people tend to pick the item number to match the exact item from the original sales order. But as this is a return order, we can definitely create a link and to find that sales order automatically by the system. So to do that, you can use this return order, find sales order option, right? And it's going to give you the list of all available invoices, both header and lines, tied to this specific customer account. So in my case, this is our 10,000 total sales order. And once I check this header select box, it's going to check all lines. So let's assume you have multiple lines and you only want to return a certain line. So if that's the case, you can also directly check those lines, only relevant lines, instead of check everything, right? The header is going to select all the lines within this order. And then the other thing, what you can modify is, let's say currently we have 10 from the original sales order, but I only want to return 8. I want to keep those 2 items, right? So in that case, you can change this quantity to return to 8, and the system is going to adjust the total amount based on the unit price. So this total credit note, which needs to be issued to the customer, is 8,000 as of now, right? So from here, I can do OK. And then you're going to see the changes here. The return quantity becomes -8 based on our modification and with the total net amount of -8,000. So that's a credit. And from here, the other thing I want to highlight is once you save this return order, it's going to trigger an automatic sales order number. So if you go to header, you can see I have the sales order number created automatically. So this sales order number 10 is the exact match of my return order. And you're going to use this sales order number to generate your credit note. You're going to see that in the last step. But just to let you know here from the header, once you save this return order, there is a return sales order created automatically. And then this is the RMA number generated by the system. So you can use a FreeDex or give a specific number sequence. So this number, you see the name is Return Materials Authorization, and you can return this RMA number to the customer and they can use this for return reference. Okay, so now let's go back to lines. So I just find my sales order, and this is my first step, right? Create a return order. And now let's move on to the second step, which should be register this return order and confirm it. So to do that, you can use this update line option and do registration directly from the line level. And here is a very important concept called disposition code. So what is this used for? This code is used to assign to that return order line, and that will define what type of action for the specific return the system is going to take, whether inventory is impacted or that's purely a financial credit note, or if the item is damaged, should we generate a replacement order and should we do any repair work. So this is all handled through this disposition code. I can do a right click and view details to show you what is configured so far in a standard environment. Let's say the number 11, you see there's an action field, and this is the driver of the future actions for the specific disposition type. So if I pick code 11, that means the credit note is needed, right? So that means put item back into inventory and credit customer. So my inventory also needs to be updated. And for number 12, the difference is going to be repair needed and add to inventory and then credit customer, right? And you see some other actions. For example, number 21, that's for credit only. This is covered through previous episodes where you only do a credit, there's no return of item, so there's no inventory impacted. And you may have other types like replace and scrap or replace and credit in case that item is damaged. And finally, you can directly scrap the item and also return to customer if that return is not a valid return request. So all those actions are driving different transactions and the business scenarios. So for this one, we're going to focus on this type 11. And if you're interested in other type of actions, feel free to comment below. I may cover in the future episodes. So for now, let's go back and I'm going to pick my disposition code. In my case, as I said, I want to put the remainder into my inventory and issue a credit note. So from here, I can do OK. And now I can add this registration line by clicking on this button. And you see the quantity is 8 and it's moving down to my registration lines. So from here, I will be able to confirm this return order. And now you see once I confirm, the line is gone. So that means it's fully registered and confirmed. So I can go back one. And once you do the confirmation, you will notice that this post packing slip option is no longer disabled or is no longer grayed out. So you need to confirm this return order to be able to process that inventory movement once your warehouse of BC01 receives that remaining 8 items. Okay, so from here I can save it. And let's say from business side, now Walmart has received my RMA number, and then they start pick pack and then also send items back to BC01's company warehouse, right? And once the warehouse receives the item, I need to update my inventory. So at that point, I'm going to post the packing slip once the warehouse receives the item. So I'm going to do OK. And let's continue. So sometimes this may be confusing because people say, okay, now you post packing slip. Does that mean warehouse needs to ship items out of inventory? But normally this is a standard sales order. We call it post packing slip. But in my scenario, since this is a return order, so this action of post packing slip is actually receiving at a warehouse, not sending it out because of this nature of this return order, right? And once it's posted, now we're going to get into the last step, which is generate my customer credit note to update my customer open AR balance, right? To do that, the last step, you cannot do it, unfortunately, within the same screen from return order, but you can easily get to the sales order we mentioned previously that this return order triggered automatically, right? So I can go to header level. And then from here, there's a hyperlink to this new sales order created. Let's click on that. At the same time, we can check the order type, everything. So let's go to this header of this sales order number 10. So clearly, you can see the customer name is Walmart. That's correct. And the order type here, it shows returned order. So that return order we created from sales and marketing automatically creates this type of sales order. right? And from here, we can go back to lines. Let's check it out if the item and total amount is correct. So product, that's the audio parts from our return order, that's correct. And the quantity is also registered with 8 remaining. And now the status is also delivered. So that means actually that returned items are already received by the warehouse. So since this is a return order, the status delivered is actually receiving. Okay. And now the final step, as we say, we need to post the credit notes. So that's enter invoice. Again, when you click here, generate invoice, it's not really outbound sales order invoice. This is more return order credit note. You're going to see on that printout version once we're done invoicing. So I'm going to click OK and complete the process of invoicing. Okay, so now it's posted. Let's go to journals, enter invoice. We can see clearly now we have an invoice amount of total minus 8,000. So this is my credit note. And then if you need to print out that credit note and send it to the customer, you can also go to here, enter document, view or send. So I want to check the original preview. Give a second for it to process. All right, so now you see clearly this is a credit note instead of an invoice or customer invoice. And of course, you can also go back and let's check the customer balance. So if I just click on this invoice account, Walmart, that's going to bring me to the customer account, right? And then we can check all the transactions. So let me see all the open transactions. So from here, you see the latest one. This is a sales order and the balance is minus 8,000. This is my credit note balance, right? You see it's on the credit side. All right, so that's everything about my return scenario when the inventory movement needs to be updated. All right, I hope this is helpful. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what other processes you want to review. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next episode.